The last day of week 2 of the Giro D'Italia. Riders signing in and hoping for a good day after one of the fastest stages of all time. In fact, the 9th fastest stage of all time on day 14. Day 15, another mountain stage, and the precursor to what was to come in the final week, all 25,000 metres of climbing. On this particular day, the second longest stage, 219 k's, leaving Fiume Veneto and climbing 3,900 metres with a longer, slightly less strong dose of Grappa this time. Last year it was a double shot. Monte Grappa here climbed from a longer, more shallow side, 25 kilometres from base to top, however. The final climb topping out at around 25 k's to go before up and down terrain to Asiago. It was another fast, furious start. The first hour ridden at 53 k's an hour. And it would be a furious fight for the breakaway. Again and again they'd try, and again riders would be pulled back. At the intermediate sprint, the first one that was, it was Mars Pedersen going up against Jensen Plowright. And the man involved in the fight for the Maglia Ciclamino taking the victory. The Dane racing for a Lidl Trek team, who the day before had lost Giulio Ciccone in a crash. He was unable to start this stage, the GC Challenge going, but freeing up their riders to go in a break. At the top of the Muro di Cal del Poggio, there were attempts to carry on going in the break. But despite Nicola Conci getting to the top, it would take a while before anything could be established. There was a gap behind, and Antonio Tiberi was in it. At one stage, with 160 k's to go, he was back at by around a minute. But once a big move went, with around 40 riders, the peloton set off to work. But it was too big to get organised. The most dangerous man in it was Einar Rubio at 4 minutes and 30 in the GC. And UAE Emirates, for that reason, were just controlling things. On Monte Grappa, things started to heat up. UAE controlling well. That wasn't until Ayuso had a mechanical, and just as he got back on the back of the bunch, even though it took him a while, it was already at the front for the Ineos Grenadiers to really up the pace. First it was Ben Turner. He'd been in the original breakaway. Josh Tarling helped as well, and that was all ready to set up the first big attack of the day. It came from Egan Bernal, following it beautifully as always have been Del Toro. Carapaz got involved, the white jersey behind, and then you had the sight of UAE trying to chase down their own teammate. At the top of Monte Grappa, there were small gaps. Around 20 seconds, the Maglia Rosa group to the rest. Simon Yates in second place had been in that second group. Primož Roglic as well. But UAE deciding they wanted to keep both their cards in the race. That was all back together with 55 k's to go, and another group went off the front just ahead of the final climb. 11 riders this time, and with 43 kilometres to go, Carlos Verona decided to try his luck. A stage winner of the Dauphiné in his days at Movistar. They looked around, hesitated, and for a while nobody decided to chase him. Back in the peloton, Ineos were back for more. The gap was big enough by this point to suggest you thought the break could take the stage. Verona was chased by first Garofoli, and then Zana decided to get into the chase as well. It was a 20-second gap near the top. And another attack came from the Maglia Rosa bunch, this time from Richard Carapaz. Once more it was followed well, and the big headline news was that Primož Roglic was suffering. He was the main victim. Others decided to go and attack too, and Roglic was losing time. Derek G feeling good, Tiberi following well. And a couple of domestiques still there for UAE Emirates. Roglic by this point 45 seconds behind, and the chasing pair getting to within 11 seconds of Carlos Verona. The stage was up in the air. Roglic a minute behind with 26.7 Ks to go. His Giro in crisis, but in front they continue to attack each other. Simon Yates, the latest to have a dig. Verona was starting to gain time on the chasers again. But 15 seconds is still 25 kilometres to ride. Roglic was talking to his teammates. He was trying to save his own Giro. UAE managed to get bodies back in the shape of McNulty and Yates, and they were trying to put the nail into Roglic's coffin. He was over a minute back by this point. Other riders started to ride. Nairo Quintana, Bardet Lemon as well, and other teams saw a chance to move Roglic out of the equation. At the finish, though, and making it, Carlos Verona. A day he'd waited for his whole career. Just a second career win. His first since joining Lidl Trek. And such a special moment. Often a worker for others. His family there to embrace him. And this the crowning moment of his career. Carlos Verona, a Grand Tour stage winner. The rest of the break hanging on to take second and third, Stock and Scaroni. And behind, no bonus seconds left. But they were all sprinting to get the best time possible on Roglic. At the end of the day then, Carlos Verona winning an incredible 6th stage for Lidl Trek. Roglic coming down almost 2 minutes after him. That meant around a minute and a half to the rest of the GC contenders, as Verona was at the top of a very special day. So a 6th stage for Lidl Trek, a first Grand Tour stage win for Carlos Verona, and a moment appreciated by many in the peloton, a tireless worker. And to the second rest day. Isaac Del Toro leading by a minute 20, Roglic slipping from 5th to 10th, now at 3:53. Del Toro in the Maglia Rosa, just as he was on the last rest day. Now the rest of the mighty mountains to come. Can he hang on and win the Giro D'Italia? One of the biggest stages of the Giro will be on Tuesday, stage 16 to the Brentonico. It's mountain after mountain after mountain, and one where perhaps a teammate or two will be required to help along the way. A Tapone, a mighty mountain stage, and you can watch it, as with the rest of the Giro D'Italia, as it heads into the final week on TNT Sports.